Okay, I think PPT is visible now. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today you are starting the one experiment that is referred as a bending test. Can you give some practical example where the engineering components are subject to bending load? Bending is a common term; it is not a high and technical term. Any common example where the components, I am talking about the engineering components or engineering structures subject to bending load. Few examples.
Bridges, sir.
Which one?
Bridge.
Bridges are subject to bending. Then any other example? Any other examples?
Railway tracks.
Railway tracks also subject to bending. Okay. And what about the flag hosting poles? That's also concerned the bending. If you pull from the top, it will bend. Even this throw ball court or volleyball court, they'll put poles. When you pull this wire or that what you call net, so those also be subject to bending. The automotive chassis, those also subject to bending. The aircraft wing, that is also subject to bending. The building beams, that also subject to bending. And pipes, especially this steel structure used in our amphitheater or some construction, those also subject to bending. For that, you have to find out what is the strength, because whenever bridge is subject to bending load, whenever vehicle moving over the bridge should be able to resist the applied load. Applied load means the load of the vehicle. It may be 10 car between two support or two support. You are saying in the engineering term, you are referring it as a support, but it is two pillars. There may be 10 vehicles. So your bridge should be able to resist those 10 vehicles without collapsing. That is the bending resistance, or you are talking of the stress. Only if stress is induced in the member against the applied load is nothing but the load of the vehicles. Then what is if bridge is made up of some if it's not of high strength, the bridge may collapse. There may be many disasters we have seen in newspaper and some TV channels. There's some many bridges, topmost bridges are collapsed. So the reason is that they are not able to withstand sufficient load. Not only collapse, it may bend also, even slightly bent also. It is failure only. Suppose in our house, if our building beams is slightly bent even by 2 mm or 3 mm, are we ready to sit in the buildings or houses? If beam is slightly bent, it's not totally failed, but still people will build whole building is slightly bent by small amounts, a few degrees, still no one is ready to go because it is already bent. There may be at any time it may collapse. For that, you have to go for one test. It is referred as a bending test. So I have slides, each and every component, every machine component I explain in the slide. What I'll do is, we have around 5 minutes video of the test. First, see the video of the test. Then I will explain. You don't understand because in the video, it is 5 minutes video, how the specimen is loaded, how readings are taken, it is explained. But it is not, you not understand. I have many slides. I'll explain each and every details after seeing the videos. So I'll play the video now. Then I'll explain. I'll continue with our PowerPoint presentation.
Universal extinguisher, quantifier capacity. This is electronics, this is low versus deformation. This is a toxic, this is attachment, bending attachment. This is a yoke, 1620 cm is there. This is gauge depth 200 mm. Gauge depth 200 mm. Offer specimen is specimen, but there is no neck.
Is it visible? Video is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Huh? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Just listen, I'll explain you, but you may not understand. At least you understand how machine is there, how the specimen is mounted.
100 mm market. Center mark of the 100 mm market. Okay. Resets. So get it. It's a material, brittle material. So brittle material. Again after say fusion operating system. First say right side now close. Say this universal measurements of right side measurement now say processor operating system. And again left side now close. This is your hydraulic working condition. Checking on that. This is okay. Checking on that. Say again process So point 1, point 2. So he said, okay, start. It's a green signal. After double column, reading is a group experiment. Say 1 kilonewton. So 1 kilonewton is 0.5. Is less than. So 2 kilonewton, 1.5. 3 kilonewton, 1.8. 4 kilonewton, 2 kilo displacement. So 4 kilonewton, 2.3 displacement. 5 kilonewton, 2.5. So up to fracture load. This is traction. Maximum 15.6 kilonewton traction, 15.6 load. So specimen of the so this is the 3.9. 1 6 1 5 another quantum time 1 2 1 again upwards. So this is 3.9. This is material load. So same procedure steel also will do. Same procedure.
One minute. Okay, PPT is visible now. Move to PPT mode now. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now I think now it may not understood, but I'll explain the complete the concept of bending test. Then you'll understand what exactly what happened in the 5 minutes video. So now the aim of the experiment is to study the behavior. The behavior means the sense in the material science. The first module is concerned with mechanical behavior. Second part of the first module is related to mechanical behavior. So behavior in the sense, when material is loaded, how it undergoes deformation. In technical term, or with respect to your mechanics of material or your material testing laboratory or material science, the behavior is how material will respond to the externally applied load. Hence, it is we are using the term behavior or response of the material, or in simple term, the deformation of the material. And if you go further specific, it is the deformation of the material under bending load. You are applying the load, so you are studying how material undergo deformation. When you come to your practical aspect, I am not going in details about the theoretical aspect. So you are applying the load. We require some measuring devices to measure the load, how much amount of load is applied. For that, there is a arrangement, there is strain gauge arrangement that the internal details of the machine is not required. Later stage, we have one more the measurement subject. The metrology and measurement subject, you're going to study what are the different types of sensors are used, different types of transducers are used to measure the force, to measure the pressure, to measure the temperature, to measure the flow rate, etc. There are sensors are inbuilt in the system or inbuilt in material testing, the UTM, Universal Testing Machine, that will measures the load, how much amount of load is applied to the specimen. So that means when you conduct the experiment, you have to note down when you come to observation part, you have to note down how much amount of load is applied over the specimen. That is the first observation you have to make. The second observation is how material behaves, or you can say what is the behavior of the material. The behavior of the material is nothing but how much amount of deformation takes place. So bending, it is a slightly different types of deformation. There are two types of deformation. One is axial deformation. Correspondingly, we have axial strain. One deformation is axial deformation. Correspondingly, there is an axial strain. So simply, if you consider a coil spring, if you push it down, there is a deformation takes place along the axial direction of the coil spring. If you pull if you consider the same fan rod, I'm giving so fan rod, it will elongates when it is subject to heavy load of the fan. It elongates along the longitudinal direction. That is again a strain or deformation. Those are axial deformation along the axis of the fan rod. the material undergo deformation. Even if you pull the rubber band also, there is elongation, it is along the axis of the rubber band. But when you come to the beam, it is not the loading direction, if you consider the beam, it can, your cantilever beam also you are familiar, you have conducted some experiment in your physics lab also. The deformation, beam axis is horizontal. Your building beams also you are familiar. The even bridges also, almost most of the bridges except few, almost horizontal. The loading direction, what is the loading direction? Is it a horizontal direction or vertical direction? In bridges, at least bridges you have seen. What is the loading direction in the bridges because of vehicle over the bridge? Is it in the horizontal direction or vertical direction? Vertical or horizontal? Horizontal, there may be small amount of force. But what is the major loads acting which direction? The horizontal direction or vertical direction? Is it beam is elongated in the horizontal direction or in the transverse direction? My question is very simple. You have the beam, or you take one stick, small stick, and support at both the ends, and apply the load at the center. Your deformation is along the length of the stick or perpendicular to the longitudinal direction of the stick. Which direction?
Perpendicular.
It is a perpendicular. So there are two more tests you are conducting by using universal testing machine. One is tensile testing and one more is compressive testing. Tensile testing, you can imagine you have a rope. The rope is crane hooks. The crane, they'll use the rope. So when you're lifting some weight, the rope may elongate because of the tensile load. Even building foundation, there is a rocks or foundation or RCC that is subject to compressive loading. Again, those loadings are in the axial direction. You have building columns. The loading is along the axis of the column. Even fan rod also, it is along the axis of the column, and deformation is also along the axis of the column. But when you come to beam, so loading is perpendicular to the longitudinal axis of beam or perpendicular to the neutral axis. You are familiar with that. I hope you studied well about engineering mechanics or civil. Nowadays it is about the civil engineering and mechanics. So where the loading is perpendicular to the neutral axis you can say. So that is the difference between your tensile test, compression test, and bending test. In the bending test, the deformation is referred as transverse deformation. So that means applied load. If you go according to the terminology itself, I'm not going try to understand the concept. Only other things are only you have to note on the values and you have to plot the graph, XY plot. So one parameter you have to note down during experimentation is the how much amount of load is applied. There are sensor automatically display. There is a digital indicator. And behavior is nothing but deformation, but deformation is transverse deformation. So those are the behavior. Then other than that, you have to find out some parameter like modulus of elasticity E. There is one more term resilience, one more term modulus of rupture and toughness. For the empty lab is considered for timing. You remember this formula in material this material science. You are discussing this term in detail, but whatever is basic information I'll explain. Then we have resilience. So that means this is mainly if you say springs, whenever you are selecting some spring material, like it may be coil spring or springs used in old clocks or springs used in automotive, that is after leaf spring, springs used in the pens or coil springs. So those are having good resilience. The resilience in the sense how much energy absorbing capacity of the material when material is loaded within the elastic limit or referred as a resilience. So it is the energy absorbing capacity of the material, resilience. Springs having good resilience. Whatever the material you are choosing for the springs, that should have good resilience. Modulus of elasticity, we know that the load divided by the force divided by the stress divided by strain. Modulus of elasticity E is equal to stress divided by strain. What is the formula for the stress? What is the formula? Formula is load divided by area. So when you conduct the experiment, you are noting down the load. Then area is, so you have to measure the cross section, but it is 50 mm by 50 mm cross section. Area we can get it from the cross section. So modulus of elasticity, we require stress, strain, change in dimension divided by original direction dimension. But when you come to bending strain, it is not like your longitudinal strain. The longitudinal strain you are referring as a change in dimension divided by original dimension. But here the site it is slightly different. So that's why you are going for the different method. From the graph you are going to plot, you are to get this modulus of elasticity, you are going to get it from the plot. There is a one more term, modulus of rupture. Now, how much amount of energy it absorbs or load it absorbs before it ruptures is referred as modulus of rupture. Then this is the machine you've seen. So this is a company brochure. The same machine we have, that same machine, but it is old machine, almost 15-year-old machine, but still it works well. The same machine, same company you are using. This is a universal testing machine. So why you are saying it's a universal testing machine is, by this machine we can conduct minimum 4 tests. At present, what attachment we have? So one is tensile test, one more is compression test, one more is bending test, and one more is shear test. The 4 tests we are conducting. So there are many tests are conducting. So hence it is referred to the universal testing machine. There are 2 types of universal testing machine. One is the universal testing machine digital. The digital in the sense, digital, one more is analog type devices. So these are the old version of the machine. Old version, first I'll show the old machine. So here the 2 indicate how much amount of load applied we can get from this digital indicator. How much amount of deformation as well as load also we can get it from the same this pointer arrangement or like a dial gauge arrangement. But what we have is, we have universal testing machine, electronic type universal testing machine. The load is displayed in electronics, means in the similar way the displacement is also displaced in electronic or digital indicator. Hence it is referred as UTE. That the name of the machine given by company is UTE. UT is for universal testing machine and E for electronic type. There is a one more type is computer type. The all load versus deformation value will be stored in the computer. So whenever you require it, we can download or we can take the printout. That is computer type. UT regular mechanical, where the digital indicators are not digital indicator, mechanical analogous devices are used. One more is electronic type, universal testing machine electronic type, and one more is computer type. What machine we have is the electronic type, not conventional mechanical or high-end computer machine. If you consider the first diagram, I hope PPT is visible now. What type of load it is subjected in the first diagram? If you consider load, what is the type of load in the first diagram? What is the type of load in the first diagram? Compression or tensile?
So compression.
It is a compression. Second one is because you are pulling the rod. When you pull the rod or a steel rod or component, is it tensile or compression loading? Tensile or compression? I hope this diagram is visible. So when you pull the rod, the loading is the tensile loading. There are some cases where members are subject to twisting also. Suppose the imagine fan rod is fixed at the one end, other end fan is rotating. Because of that, there is a slight twisting moment. You are familiar with the twisting of the wires to cut the wire. That's a twisting load. This is because they put the arrow like this here. That's why this is a twisting load. And one more is, what is this type of load? This is support point. It is like a beam only, or bridges. The bridges are supported on the horizontal direction. Bridges are supported at 2 point. This is one pillar, and that is almost like one more pillar. Imagine for our easy analysis purpose, you are keeping some animals here, somewhere here, some tons of 1 ton of some weight is kept here. Even though it is a horizontal loading, it is a 3-point bending. It is about a 3-point bending. This is the first point. This is a loading second point. This is a loading third point. This is a support point. Support loading. This is support loading, and this is external loading. So that means for the same specimen may be subject to compression, same specimen may be subject to tension, same specimen may be subject to torsion or bending also. Today you are going to concentrate on this part, the bending load. One minute, there is some setting changes. So today concentrating on only this part. This is after 3-point bending there because there's some explanation that we are referring the term 3-point. This is one support point. This is one more support point. This is one more loading point. Right? It is almost like a beam. This bridge. There are two support. Those support points are referred schematically represented by this arrow. Here there is a one more arrow. Those are the supporting point. This is the loading point for the bridge. So you are concentrating on only this. There is a torsion test. There is a separate torsion machine. The compression and tensile loading that we will do in the later classes. But at present, so this is the test you are conducting. This is a schematic diagram of the specimen. So these are the tensile test. I am not explaining in details. So where tensile test specimen is pulled between two. So this is a tensile loading because you can see the workpiece. It is a tensile. This is the once load is applied. This is a fracture point. It is like a glass. It fractures into two pieces. If it is brittle material, glasses are belongs to brittle material. Our ceramic materials also comes under brittle material. If it is regular multi-steel of tensile material, it will fracture into two pieces. That is referred to the cup and cone fracture. If it is highly ductile material like gold, etc., then you get this type of. This is one side and this is one more side. Finally, it is separated. Then I'll explain the details in the later class. This is a tensile load is applied from the top end and also the bottom end. Then finally specimen breaks. Here we can see broken specimen. This is the actual photograph of the tensile specimen when it is subject to tensile loading. So now we can understand what is bending. It's almost like some of you have given the example of bridge. This is one pillar and this is one more pillar. Imagine this is a huge truck carrying the load. Let it be around 10-ton load. This is referred as 3-point bending. Here this is a 1-point support. This is one more support. Here one more loading point. You can see once the material is bent, it will bend like this. So like this only it bends. So now this is one more diagram showing schematic diagram. It is referred as 3-point flexure test. Bending test is also referred as a flexure test. I hope you are understanding this concept. We have putting so many PPTs so that to understand the concept, understanding the basic concept involved in the testing. How it is tested, already video is there. But you are, other than conducting test, maybe around only 5 minutes job. Even in the lab also, regular lab also, we can finish as the test within 5 minutes for 5 minutes. But lot of fundamental concept you have to remember. Those concept I am going to explain. So now this is 3-point bending. This is one support point. This is one more support point. It is almost like a pillar of two bridges or elevated There was power issues. Now it is okay. Is it okay? Everything is fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I think you can see the photos. These are the actual, this is schematic sketch. This is a schematic sketch that will explains how exactly loading takes place in the machine. This is the loading point you can see here. This is the loading point. This is a specimen. You have to conduct one more test later stage. You're waiting once regular class starts, you'll use metals. This is the loading point. You can see that this is loading point. This is the loading point. This is one support point and this is one more support point. It is simply supported beam. That's why you're putting it as the roller support. This is the one support and this is one more support. Corresponding, we have two support, here one support and here one support. This is the loading point. This is acting the downward direction. So this is compression test. Then you have discussed about compression test later. But in general, you have to remember. So here, this is the axis of the beam. This is the axis of the beam or axis of the specimen. The loading is perpendicular to the axis of the specimen in the bending. You have to remember, loading is perpendicular to the axis of the beam in the case of bending, or it is referred as transverse loading. It is referred as transverse loading, and corresponding deformation is referred as a transverse deformation. You can see here, the loading is perpendicular to the longitudinal direction of the workpiece. Compression, this is the vertical direction, the loading direction. The axis of the specimen is also vertical. The axis of the specimen is vertical and loading is also in the vertical direction. That is the difference between compression, tensile and bending. There is one more test, that is after shearing test, that we will discuss. There is one more test, separate test you have to conduct. Like a cutting of the paper, we require shearing action, not compression. Imagine you have a 100-page book. Even if you apply around 1 ton load on the book also, it may not cut. But we can shear it without much effort. We can take one small scissor, bigger scissor, we can cut into 2 pieces with minimum amount of force. It may be 2 kg or 3 kg. But same sheet book, you want to tear it, by using compression load, we require huge amount of load. So that means you have to, there may be shearing strength also, you have to find out in the case of shearing test. Again, shearing test is also conducted in UTM. This is an example for shearing. We'll discuss in that later. This is the actual UTM test machine we have in our lab. This is the actual photograph. The universal testing machine. Model is referred to UTE40 because you should have some feeling of you are in the lab. That's why I have taken the photos of machine at different point. So this is name of the machine is universal testing machine. This is the actual photograph of our lab machines. I'm not taken anything from the net. It is a theory concept I may use, but most of the practicals I use the photograph taken from the lab itself. So what is UTE? UT for universal testing machine. E is for the electronic type. There are 2 display, one for the load and one more for the deformation. So both are the digital display, hence it is of the electronic type. And 40 is the 40-ton capacity. 40 ton is how many kilonewton? 400 kilonewton. 40-ton capacity means you have 40-ton capacity is nothing but you have, if you consider this point, you can remember. On this specimen, you can apply load of 40 ton. 40 ton is nothing but keeping around 10 trucks, that for 10-wheeler trucks, one above the other, that is equivalent to that amount of load is applied by small machine by using hydraulic means or by using Pascal law. Those things are not discussing much about hydraulics, circuits, all those things. We have separate subject itself, hydraulics and pneumatics in higher semester. There you are going to study. But timing, the capacity of our actual machine, what we have in our laboratory, is 40. UTE 40 is the model name. 40 refers to ton, equivalent to 400 kilonewton load we can apply. And manufacturing of this is a Fuel Instruments and Engineers. That is the manufacturing company name. That is normally referred to as FIE. This is the actual photograph of the universal testing machine. Already you have seen the video. This is the photograph. So to move because we have this arrangement, you are keeping the workpiece here. You have to move this cross set. This is referred to as cross set up and down. It is operated by hydraulic means. We have hydraulic valves like a regular tap. If you want to load and unload the hydraulic system, we have open and close. That is indirectly you're opening the valve or closing the valve. So it is almost like a regular tap. There's a valve. So where fluid enters into the cylinder, because finally load is applied through hydraulic mean, not by mechanical mean. So that means. So now I am talking about the two information you have to note down in this test. You have seen this video. These are the different photograph, actual photograph of our machine. One is bending load and one more is behavior. How material behaves when it is subject to bending load. So behavior is nothing but a deformation. So for deformation, it is also referred to as displacement. There is a one separate indicator for digital indicator for the displacement. Similarly, one more indicator, it is for the load. Most of the time, load you are getting in terms of Newton. That means you have to note down in the bending test whether it's offline or online. Finally, you have to write the examination offline or not in the online. The last semester somehow that is our top body of your engineering education, like All India Council for Technical Education. That is one top body, and one more top body is University Grant Commission (UGC). So they have given they have given some relaxation. Without writing the examination, you are promoted to the next higher semester, but that may not apply now. The next coming semester, you definitely have the offline examination, online class and offline exam, that combination. Last semester online class and online examination of test, but this time definitely offline examination. Already 8th final year examination students are already, they have written the examination. The lower semester students, those who failed backlogs, there is an examination for another, I think last 15 days is happening. Another 1 week or 2 weeks going on. Every day examinations are going on. Offline examinations are going on for backlog student and offline examination for 8th semester student. That's why even theory and laboratories, I suggested you already I have sent manual PDF file. It is in your Google Classroom. Take the printout. So whenever explaining that imagine bending test, you have to open that manual. So open that manual, you have to see what is there in the manual. So all PPT may not be available in the manual. What is required for conduction of exam test, as well as the examination point of view, you have prepared the manual, but PPT, all PPT may not be available. But PPT PDF, I put it in Google Classroom also. Any of video is also uploading in the Google Classroom. Don't think that everything is Google Class available in the Google Class. Don't miss the classes. This is a time to listen to the lecture. Wherever you have the doubt, you can play those videos. We can clarify your doubt. That means as per your this lab is concerned, you have to note down two parameters. One is load and one more is deformation. For load, so there is a load we are getting in terms of kilonewton. You are getting the kilonewton load. The displacement is in terms of mm. These are the different. This is the hand wheel. You can see this is the hand wheel, and this is the cross set. This is the schematic diagram. These are different parts of the lathe. This is the control panel of our universal testing machine. Already you have seen the video. This is the control panel. So to apply the load, you have to open this valve, hydraulic valve. To move the cross set, there is devices here. There is a button. You have to press this button. This is the digital indicator, and this is the printer. So whatever load versus deformation is explained by different textbooks, or it may be in different online material. For that, we require printer also. The load versus deformation plot will be plotted. Then you can take the printout of that load versus deformation curve, but manually you have to do that part. Now this is the, already you have finished one test. This is the specimen. You have to note down what are the dimension of the specimen. I told you to keep on observation book, around 100-page notebook. You note down the observation of the bending test. Observation. The bending, the dimension of the specimen is 50 mm by 50 mm into 300. What is 50 mm? The height of the specimen is 50 mm. Width of the specimen is again 50 mm. And the length of the specimen is again 50 mm. 50 mm, the 50 mm by 50 mm. The length is 300, not 50 mm. This PPT is visible now. Yes or no? At least you can put.
It's visible, sir.
Okay. If anything is there, put it in the chat box.
Okay,
Because
sir.
in the previous 5 minutes before power was gone, I was explaining, but I come to know that restarted our system. Everything is restarted. That time only I come to know that power is gone. Once power is gone, we don't get internet. Once again, you have to reconnect it. So now this is the specimen. You have to note down. I told you to keep observation book. You have to note down. The height of the specimen is 50 mm. Width of the specimen is 50 mm. The length of the specimen is 50 mm. That is the actual dimension that you can see here. The video you cannot see because even though I shown the video because at least you have got some imagination. So this is 50 mm. Height is 50 mm. This is 50 mm. And this length is 300. There is one more length. It is referred to gauge length. Gauge length is 200 mm. What is gauge length is? Here you can see. This length. This is the total specimen length. The total specimen length is 300 mm. The gauge length is 200 mm. Gauge length is nothing but the distance between the support or span. It is a span length. In most of the time, civil engineering term, it is about a span length. Distance between this point arrow and this arrow is 200 mm. That is nothing but a gauge length. And total length of the specimen is 300 mm. You can see here. From this point to this point, it is 200. But there are some extra projections on this side and this side. The total length of the specimen is 300 mm. Now you can see here. This is the center point. So where load is applied. That is the third point. Once again, if you see this, you understand. This is the third point. So fracture test. This is a force you are applying at the center of the specimen. This is one support point, and this is one more support point. Same thing you can see in the machine. In the video, you cannot see the all details, but photos. I have taken the photos. See here. This is a special attachment for conducting the bending test. The distance between you can see one cylinder, a solid cylinder. It is one more cylinder. It is nothing but a roller. The central distance between these two rollers are nothing but a gauge length. It is 200 mm. The total length of the specimen is 300 mm. You can see here. The distance from this point to this point, the distance is 200 mm. That is a support point. The distance between the two support is 200 mm. Only with that 200 mm material will undergo deformation, not this portion. This portion may not undergo deformation. This portion may not undergo deformation. Only this 300 mm is undergo, the 200 mm length of the specimen is undergo deformation. So now you have to move for mounting the specimen, you have to move this up and down because you have to keep the specimen. For moving the complete cross head is nothing but, this is the cross head. You have to move the cross head up and down. So to move the cross head up and down, you have the movement here. Cross head up, down. If you press this button, so cross head will move up. If you press this button, cross head will move down. Then to power off, and in the case of emergency, if you want to switch off the power, if you press this button, it automatically will be switched off. Especially with the hydraulic power, because you are in the hydraulic power. This is the digital indicator. This is a digital indicator. This is the machine. This is the control panel. So this is the actual operation. So you can see here, this is the specimen is already mounted. And during the conductional test, I have taken photos at different intermediate state because all things you cannot clearly understood just by seeing around 5 minutes video. Already specimen is mounted between here in the special attachment. When it is about the bending attachment. 1 minute moves to some other model. So now we can see the specimen is undergoing because you are applying load. The specimen is undergoing deformation. So now you can see here we have marked that this is one marking and this is one more marking. So this length is 200 mm. So only during in the 200 mm there is a breakage of the specimen, especially at the center. This is a bending test arrangement. You can see here. This is the bending test attachment. The distance between this point and this point is 200 mm, or this point to this point is 200 mm. At the exact at center mm, you evaporate the load. So now this is the one more action. This is not our photo, our college photo. So how bending takes place here? This is the, if it is a metal, how bending takes place? This is one support and this is one more support at the center. You are applying the load. This already was seen. Page down once again appearing. So here we can see this is not our lab photos to understand better at all. So this is center point. So one load is applied. There is a transverse deformation. You can see here there is a transverse deformation. There is a steel rod where it undergoes transverse deformation. This is the same thing already you have seen. This is the this photo is available in your manual. So you can see and we can try to identify some of the parts of the lathe machine by using this schematic sketch. And model is UTE 40. The maximum load apply we can is 400 ton. It is nothing but 40 ton of load you can apply on the specimen. Maximum capacity is 400 kilonewton. The clearance between the column is 500 mm. Distance between the column, this distance from this point to this point, it is 500 mm. The ram stroke is 200 mm. The ram stroke is nothing but that is the piston arrangement, piston and cylinder arrangement within that ram. That's a 200 mm. This is a UTM. This is a control panel that already you have seen. This is the procedure. Already I explained the procedure. So now you have to note down. This is test for, you have seen that test for both compression, this is a bending test. These are the values you have to note down: load and deformation. And correspondingly, you have to plot the load versus deformation plot. Then these are the observation. These are the calculations, formulas and calculation. Now I will play the video once again. Now you can understand better. Initially I have shown to, at least when I am explaining, you have to understand some important point. That's why I told. But now I'll show the video once again.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Tell me.
Sir, can you post the link in Google Classroom, sir?
Which one?
The link of the
Link I'll put it in the Google Classroom. I'll put it in the Google Classroom.
Okay, sir. Okay.
That you can, whenever you have doubt, you can open it, and because I have to, now you have to plot the graph. So before plotting the graph, just once again, previously, just to visualize how exactly, once again see the this video. Then you understood what is force, what is deformation. Then you can start plotting the graph. I'll dictate the values. Already you have conducted the experiment. I have the load versus deformation. It is like a XY plot. We know the X value, we know the Y value. Then you have to note the X value is deformation, Y value is force. You have to plot it. Anyhow, I'm putting it in the Google Classroom. The link I'll put it in this or a whole video. I'll put it in the Google Classroom. Along with PPT also, I'll put it in the Google Classroom. And complete what is required for your examination and what is required to write in the record book. That is there in your manual. For that, you refer manual. Understanding, you see the videos, see the PPTs, and see the actual working. But the record part, everything is there in the manual. I think manual is also shared in Google Classroom. For other batch, already shared the complete PDF file of the manual. If it is not shared, I'll share it in the Google Classroom. No problem. Everything, all information will be there. But once again, I'll show the video, then I'll explain. I'll dictate the values, what is load and corresponding deformation. Note down. Then I'll give around 15 to 20 minutes time. Within that 15 to 20 minutes time, you have to plot the graph. You have to show how it exactly it comes. That will end your today's class.
Universal estimation, what is the capacity? This is electronics, this is load versus deformation. Universal estimation, what is the capacity? This is electronics, this is load versus deformation. Next is offset. This is attachment, bending attachment. This is a yoke. This is gauge.
I hope it is visible now. Video is visible.
Yes.
Now this yes,
Okay.
sir.
First, I can see the specimen now.
Total length will take, next width will take, and height will take. So width
Yes, sir.
and height 50 mm is there. Height 50 mm is there. Length 300 mm is there. Total length 300 mm. After market center market again 100 mm market. Center mark after 100 mm market. Okay. Say 3 sets. So get it 200. It's a material, brittle material. So brittle material. Again after brittle material, say efficient operating system. First, say right side now. Say this is the difference of right side difference now. Say this is the operating system. First is the right side now. Switch on efficient and again left side now close. This is your hydraulic working condition. Checking on that. This is okay. Checking on that. Say off. Again cross the
You can see the displacement and load.
He said, okay, start. It's a green signal. After W1, reading is a group experiment. Say 1 kilonewton. So 1 kilonewton. 1 kilonewton, 1.6. So 2 kilonewton, 1.5. 3 kilonewton, 1.8. 4 kilonewton, 2 kilo displacement. So 4 kilonewton, 2.3 displacement. 5 kilonewton, 2.5. So up to is a fraction load.
No, you can observe there is a breaking of the specimen.
Fraction 3.6 load. So specimen of the 3.10. 1.6, 1.5, another 1 outside, 1.4, and again upwards. So this is 3.20. Okay, it is material load. So same procedure, steel also prepared. Same procedure.
So 1 minute, I'll dictate the values of load and deformation. Finally, if it is the PPT is visible now? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
In conclusion is, anyhow, if it is offline examination, once again you have to come to the lab. So we'll have some repetition class. Don't worry about that part. But you should know the procedure and formulas and fundamentals in the online class. If it is offline examination, regular examination, definitely you have to come and you once again will conduct in front of you and physically, so we can get it clarified. If it is an offline exam, don't worry about that part. Simple, whatever the observation you have to note down is, you will be applying the load. The load value you are getting from this data. Here you can see the load, no? And displacement, you have to note down the load and displacement. If you go on applying the load, at one point, the specimen fractures, because initially if we apply 20 kilonewton load, 10 kilonewton load, 5 kilonewton load, material has resistance. That is nothing but it will stress. It will undergo stresses. It will resist the load. But once it exceeds the strength of the material, then it fractures. You have to note down the fracture load. That means what is the how much amount of load is applied and what is the corresponding amount of displacement you have to note down. At present, I have the last year, the values of the last year. I'll give the values. You have to draw load versus deformation plot. That already you have seen this. At one particular point, it fails. That is what is a fracture load or maximum load. F, you are using the term F maximum. The maximum amount of load it can taken resist by the specimen is nothing but a maximum load. I am giving the example. You are applying the load. For you, imagine I am keeping around 5 kg. You will not fail. If you go on increasing up to 50 kg, when you apply 50 kg, you may collapse. So that is the maximum load we can resist. So in the similar way, material also resist without any fracture, without any permanent deformation. Material resist, and finally at one point it will fracture. That is the maximum load you are referring the later stage formulas. This is 3-point bending. You have seen all those things. Don't worry about that part. UTM procedure already you have. Before going for that, in the observation part, you have to note down the material. Today you have finished the experiment for the wood. You have to write wood here. Today's experiment is bending test on wood. Average breadth and thickness of the specimen. Physically, you have to measure. I am already given. Breadth is 50 mm and thickness is 50 mm. The length of the. Huh?
We write this in the observation book, sir.
Oh, yes, you have to write. You write down now only. I'll tell slowly. because you have to write the record how which book you have to write, all those things will tell you. But if now everything you write it in your observation book, these values, then you have to transfer to your record book. Record, whether you have to use BMSCT or any other record book, we'll inform you, because still we don't know the status. In observation book, you note down, you have to keep observation book whenever you are explaining the lab class. You have to keep the observation book pen, and most of the experiment you have to plot the graph. You have to keep around 3 to 4 graph sheet, the pencil, eraser, scale, everything you have to keep ready for lab. So now observation material is wood, and average breadth and thickness of the specimen 50 mm breadth, 50 mm thickness. The length of the specimen is, what is the length of the specimen? It is 300 mm. Length of the specimen is 300 mm. Gauge length of the specimen is, what is the gauge length? We have marked 2 chalk pieces. We have marked what is the distance between those 2 points?
200 mm.
200 mm. The maximum load F maximum from the table, we can get the F maximum. That is no need to write. So I'll give the values. So this is the how exactly your lab record, the manual, it is there. Table is there, manual itself. Load F in kilonewton and deformation in mm. That's all you are noting down. In the complete experiment, you have to note down load, how much amount of load is applied, and how corresponding deformation. Then they have to find out stresses. So I think change it. This formula will not hold good for the stress. The stress is equal to load divided by area. The load divided by this elastic strength is okay. Stress divided by strain. But modulus of elasticity, you are using the whenever it is subject to bending load. The modulus of elasticity formula for bending test is slightly different. So where F is the load, here you can see E is equal to modulus of elasticity equal to F into L. So L is always the gauge length, not length of the specimen. You have to remember. In bending formula, you are using the L. L is always gauge length. The 48 is the for it is simply supported from formula it comes. Later stage in mechanics of material, you are going to derive how you are getting L cube divided 48. So Y is the displacement, and I is the moment of inertia. You write down the formula for moment of inertia. Moment of inertia is BD cube divided by 12. Moment of inertia is BD cube divided by 12. You understood now? Moment of inertia is BD cube divided by 12. B is 50 mm. Note down. B is 50 mm. D is again the 50 mm. Then E value, Young's modulus is you can see here. L cube, you are separating the term. Length of the specimen is fixed. Irrespective of the loading, length of the specimen is fixed. 48 is constant. I is also constant. For the given specimen, L is constant. For the given material like wood, the I is also constant. Only parameter is F and Y. F and Y, it is the slope of the load versus deformation plot. You can see here. F by Y is from the load versus deformation plot. You have to draw load versus deformation plot for getting Young's model. Don't calculate each and every 100. Don't write if you are taken if you give around 10 readings. Don't calculate 10 E value. Your F by Y will comes from the load versus deformation plot. It is nothing but a slope of the load versus deformation plot. Then there is a formula for resilience. The resilience is nothing but how much amount of energy stored per unit volume or unit volume. FF is the load at the proportional limit. So that once you plot the graph, you will come to know what is FF. Before that, we cannot note down the values. After plotting the graph, we will come to know what is FF. The YP is the deflection at the proportional limit. Again, you have to plot the graph. I have the graph. I'll show you what is YP. A is the cross-section area, that is 50 into 50. You can note down A is 50 into 50. The length is the gauge length, that is 50 into, the length is 200 mm. The modulus of rupture, you have the formula. The m is nothing but your moment. The c is the distance between the neutral axis and outermost fiber that you studied in your civil engineering and mechanics. The distance between neutral axis and outermost fiber. If the length height is, as per our beam is considered, height is 50 mm, you note on here, c is equal to, you have to just write on, c is equal to height of the specimen divided by 2, that's equal to 50 mm divided by 2, that is 20 mm. C is 20 mm. Then mu is your moment, maximum bending moment, that is FF, the load at fracture. FF is the load at fracture, that again you are getting the value from the table. And L is the length of the specimen, whether it is a lowercase letter or uppercase letter, there is a mistake here. Whether it's uppercase, lowercase letter, it is always gauge length, divided by 4. So C is 25 mm, that already a concept. Distance between neutral axis of the beam and outermost top surface or bottom surface is 25 mm. That is beam height divided by 2 is nothing but C. Then modulus of rupture, already you have seen. The toughness, we have the formula. PF. PF is nothing but the load at fracture. PF or FF, that's interchangeably you will use. The load at fracture. So fracture load is the maximum load. Y is the displacement of the fracture. That is again you are getting from your plot. Divided by A into 3A into L. A is the area of the cross section. L is length. It's a lowercase letter, uppercase. You have to keep, if it is use lowercase letter, here also lowercase letter, here also lowercase. If you use uppercase letter, here also uppercase, here also uppercase. Okay. Keep the same lowercase or uppercase. This is the formula. Now, just for last part of your experiment is you have to note down the values. Just write down. It may not be clear. Even though I am putting these photos in your PPT in your Google Classroom, but still note down the values. Now you have to plot the graph. I think make 2 columns. To make 2 columns. Left side is load. 2 columns. Check rough scale, because it is observation book. Only record, you have to note down the values correctly, neatly, and legible neatly. The left side column load, it is in kilonewton. Already you have seen the digital indicator. From that you are noting down the values. On the right side column, it is a deformation. It is deformation. Deformation unit is mm. Now note down 1 kilonewton. Corresponding deformation is 1.6. 2 kilonewton. Corresponding deformation is 2.1 mm. 3 kilonewton. Corresponding deformation is 2.5. 4 kilonewton. Corresponding deformation is 2.8. 5 kilonewton, 3.1. 6 kilonewton, 3.4. 7 kilonewton, 3.7. 8 kilonewton, 4.0. 9 kilonewton, 4.3. 10 kilonewton, 4.5. 11 kilonewton, 4.8. 12 kilonewton, 5.2. 13 kilonewton, 5.6 mm. 14 kilonewton, 6.1. Then the 11.5. Now we can see here, after 14 kilonewton, the load bearing capacity is decreases. That means it is already fracture takes place. Because of the fractures. Imagine one person is carrying some load. When he is healthy, he may carry 50 kg of load. Suppose in accident, that should not happen to the people. I'm giving an example so that to understand better. Imagine his one of the leg is fractured. His load bearing capacity will be reduced from 50 kg to maybe 40 kg. In the similar way, already specimen undergone some fracture. Because of that fracture, the specimen is not able to take the maximum load. Here it is 14 kilonewton. Then the load bearing capacity of the specimen is decreased to 11.5. That is, you are saying F max. You have to write down F max is equal to, you write down 14 and 6.1, 11.5 kilonewton, 7.7. In below that you write down the fracture load is, or F maximum is equal to 14 kilonewton. Corresponding Y maximum is 6.1 mm. In a similar way, it is for the mild steel. So I am not dictating for the mild steel. You are not conducting the experiment, but same procedure you have to follow. No need to find out stresses values or strain value. Nothing. No need to find out some graph. They have written some old record from other branch students, but it is not required. Just you have to draw load versus deformation curve. See here, this is the plot. The x-axis is load in terms of kilonewton. Y-axis deformation. This plot you have to do. I'll give you around 15 to 20 minutes, around 3:30. So what you have to do is, I hope everyone is having graph sheet. But whoever having a graph sheet, you show it around 3:30. Just show your graph sheet in the live. You show your graph sheet. You can leave the classroom once it is over. Let finish the table, then finish the calculation. That is, I'll give another half an hour for finishing the calculation. Today only you finish it in your observation, all calculations and plot also, graph sheet also. I think next, some may not have graph sheet now, but if you don't have the graph sheet, you take the graph sheet. If it is not available, download the graph sheet and take the printout by nearby shops. Somehow you have to make arrangement. Otherwise, no use. No use at the end of the semester, because these are carries around 50 marks. I think this is a major experiment. It carries around 40 marks. 40 marks. So that means majorly they'll see the plot and how material behaves. Only slope, you are saying slope. So only initial part of the stress strain diagram. This is almost straight line, linear. Theoretically, you are saying it's a straight line or linear in the stress strain diagram, but it's not linear. For the initial part of the stress strain diagram, you have to find out the slope. That is nothing but F by Y. You have to remember, no? This is the slope. Slope is del Y by del X you are writing, but here del F by del L, that is nothing but a slope. That slope you have to substitute here. In formula I have shown this formula. We have L is known, that is 300 mm. Now 200, 48 is constant. I is also BD cube divided by 12. F by Y is the slope of the graph. That graph you have to do, and you have to get the slope. That is the slope of the graph. That is the F by Y. Other remain here also you are using the fracture load. That is the last load. Initially we have reached to 14. That is the Y max. That you don't use the maximum fracture load. That is the fracture load. So load at proportional limit, F is the load at proportional limit. The proportional limit is, so up to almost about this point, your deformation is directly proportional to load. Even material science also I am telling the linear curve. Up to almost this point, the load is your deformation is directly proportional limit. You have to plot the graph, then you have to draw one horizontal line, you will get corresponding point. So if this point is your fracture point. If you draw one horizontal line, that you will get the fracture load. From the graph, you have to find out, get the fracture load and proportional load at proportional limit. Those things you have to get it from the graph. I hope you understood. But if you have any difficulties around 3:30, we'll discuss. We can clarify till 5 I take around 5 minutes time, and remaining another 15 minutes, you have to finish the graph. Then around 3:30, once again, if you have any discussion, you will be have discussion at 3:30. For timing, I will be there in the. I'll stop recording, but I'll in the session.